What's going on, everyone? This is Eric Devendorf, your host of the Scores Table podcast. Tonight, we have another SU legend on. Now, this SU player right here is the winningest starter in SU history. He was at Cuse from 2009 to 2013, and he's actually from Syracuse, so he's familiar with the town, and he's a living legend in the Cuse. B. Triche, appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Fresh off Dubai, fresh off the spring break, like as you said.
Yeah, of course. I didn't know too much about like UAE or Dubai, and people talk about it, it's like so many restrictions, but when you go there, you realize it's like, it's just a normal country. Obviously it's a blessing for me to even travel there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into that later into the podcast. But first, I just want you to start off, tell me about you growing up in the Cuse, who really put the ball in your hand, and, how you got started playing.
Yeah, so I got two older brothers. So I'm the youngest of three. And obviously my uncle, Howard Triche, played. My dad played as well. So with my brothers being 4 years and 7 years older, I kind of just followed what they did. So I think I always had the ball. I really started playing organized basketball at 5. Just started playing that in YEOP, which was like I know they just stopped YEOP like a few years ago. I think with Ed Byron passing, but I just started playing in that. My dad was also helping, so he was pretty much my coach from ages of 5, all the way up, because he always had like a team. And for me, I just always played with my middle older brother, which is closer in age. And so a lot of times my friends was his friends. And pretty much that's kind of like how I got started or even realized I was good, just because I was just competing with older guys.
Yeah, so but you was growing up, you was getting beat up early on, though. You had to feel with it, go through that, playing with the older guys, or you was just whooping them early on?
You know what? I was hanging in there. Okay. I was like the kid who like, all right, he's small, but I was surprising.
Right.
So it wasn't until I was like a bigger little kid as well. So I kind of wasn't too small. I was I think I was bigger and like a little strong for my age. So I can remember as far as like 8, I was definitely competing, 3 years above me, for sure.
Yeah, you got an action figure body. So, you stay keeping your body right, no doubt. But like, I remember, I think 8th grade, probably like you was on the scene early though with it, right? I remember probably 7th, 8th grade, people was probably like, they was talking about you already.
Yeah, I got, so obviously with Bernie Fine, I was, my dad used to do poultry and couch work with him and doing some type of, fixing stuff. So I used to go to the SU basketball camp before I was old enough. I think the ages was like, I think 8 or 9 it started or something like that. I was 7 years old. So I was able, like my dad would do work for Bernie and I would just go to the camp for free. So I was doing that from the ages of 7. And so they always, obviously knew who I was, obviously my uncle being there. So they was just following me all the way through my, through my growth. And then when I think in between 7th and 8th grade is when I actually became like ready, ready to compete with like older guys as far as like seniors and stuff like that.
So were you always like a Cuse fan growing up? Growing up in Cuse, I know it's a lot of pressure to be a fan. You know what I mean?
You know what? I wasn't.
Okay.
So it wasn't. To be honest, I didn't become a fan until I started getting free tickets. So 8th grade, 9th grade. Yeah, when they started recruiting me and getting the free tickets, that's when I kind of became a fan, because I ain't gonna lie, I was more into the rivals. I was obviously as a kid you grow up, Duke and UNC always gotta be your favorite. For most people it's like that because they're always the top teams, especially from the years of, let's say, 99 all the way, through like 04. And then once I transitioned into like, liking other players, then it was UConn. So from Ben Gordon, so that was like 03, 04. I like UConn, and then when SU started recruiting me, that's when I which was 05, is the years where I really paid attention to SU.
So I mean, like even with your uncle playing at SU, it was already in the family. You was like, nah, I'm UNC and Duke right now until I can get them free tickets. This is what time it is.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You know what's funny is that because so was SU wasn't good. So from the from when I really was like paying attention, which was '98, because my Jason Hart is my cousin. So when he played, he graduated in '98. So I was going to a few of the games back then. I was like 7. So from 90, not like 98 was like the last season he played. They was pretty good. 99, 2000, they were bad. They were bad all the way until Melo freshman year, which was 03 or 02, 03.
03. So
yeah.
Bad like what? Like because I think there was some sanctions going on there, right?
Yep. Yeah. Now, I won't say bad, you know what I'm saying? They was at the level of current SU best. It wasn't ranked, you know what I mean? They was just competing. You know, it wasn't just like, you know, they didn't have like the prospect that's super good. Yeah. And that was like Damone Brown. I remember going and watching him. Obviously Jason Hart. Who else?
Who they had? Pete Shumpert.
I remember Eton Thomas, huh?
Yeah. Preston Shumpert.
Preston Shumpert.
Blackwell.
Yep. I remember like that was when I can like actually remember like the 97, 98 season. And like I remember going into like the back of the behind like the little blue sheet. They used to have like the shooting little thing up where you can just shoot and win a basketball. It used to be these blue and white balls. I don't even know if they still do that.
They still do that, bro.
Oh, they still do it?
Yeah, I think.
My backyard used to be filled with those basketballs. Because you'll win it would be unpumped. Yeah, I remember that.
No doubt. So, like, in your recruitment, like, when you started, like you said, 7th, 8th grade, it started to get serious. Obviously, Cuse was in there already, but who were the other schools that were really on you?
So the first actual letter I got, and it was funny because I actually talked to the guy a few years, like when I was like a senior in college, but it was Utica College was the first college that sent me a letter. And when I had talked to him, he was like, he said he must have thought that I was like a senior or something. You know what I mean? Because I was like I was going into my 8th grade year. So I don't know why. Yeah. But the actual first Division I letter I got was Clemson.
Clemson?
Yeah. But the actual letter, the first one ever was Utica College, but the first D1 was Clemson. Because I was like my summer, my 8th grade year going into my 9th grade year, I was playing with Mickey Walker. I was playing 17 and under. So that's when I was actually like playing and competing and started getting more and more letters.
Yeah, Utica College. He ain't mean that. He meant to put a different name on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he probably was like, all right, he's like for his age, I guess he'll be all right for, like with us. But
come on, man, you gotta read the writing on the wall. Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time. Bet Rivers Sportsbook is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash money. When you win at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, they pay fast. And now it's even faster with Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. Go to betrivers.com today or download the Bet Rivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call telephone number 1-800-GAMBLER. So I want you to talk about high school. You tearing your ACL. Was it going into your senior year or was it at the end of your senior?
No. I tore my ACL going into my. I tore it my sophomore year.
The sophomore, yes. So I want you to talk about that, like early on, like going through that, and like how your mental was coming back from that, you know, or at an early age, because that's kind of like having that injury at a young age.
15,
Is like,
15,
you know what I mean?
It was pretty, when it happened, it was like kind of devastating because it was like one of those, it was in the middle of me getting on like the national scene. So this is like, right, this was after, I think you guys was at the game. We played Johnny Flynn team. So he was ranked fourth senior class as a guard. You know what I mean? So I went toe to toe with him, played well, and then a week later I tore my ACL, and it was pretty. You know, for me, I didn't know obviously what was going on. You know, what's crazy is like when I tore my ACL, I finished the game. So like it was like I had like 6 points at the I had like 6 points at the time. I felt my knee. I went up the game. I was like, man, it's like I can't mess up my average. So I ended up finishing the game. I scored like 14 more points. I ended up with like 24 points that game. But for me, mentally, you know what? I was jealous, man. I ain't gonna lie. Well, I used to go to like watch I stopped going to practices. When I would go to the games, I would just hope my team would lose. Like I was just jealous. Like why am I sitting down? You know. So I went through that phase for like until the end of the season. And then I was just rehabbing. And you know what? I was just obviously naive and ignorant about the situation because for me, if I don't, rehab my knee and always pay attention to it, then I'll lose the muscle. So I had no clue, about that, So first 7 months, I'm doing everything I need to do, and then I remember because I hurt my ACL. I tore it, I think like December. It was right after Christmas. I think like December 26th. I had surgery January 11th, and that was 07. So the first tournament I had was Las Vegas. That was the first tournament, Vegas, which is in the summer. So I went there, I played, and I'm thinking my knee is good, but I'm not lifting the weights. I'm thinking, okay, perfect. I got the muscle now. I'm good. After like 1 week there, I'm pretty much losing all my muscle. I'm like, I can't even, I can't run up and down. So I only played like 3 games. I probably sat out the rest of the tournament. But from there, mentally, I was always positive. I've always been like a positive person. So I always figured when the doctor said, "Oh, you can be better, or your ACL will be stronger," I really thought that was possible. So I always kept that mindset. And obviously, I tore it again, like 5 years ago. But I didn't know. So I just figured, first thing I really did was I was like, all right, this is when being strong was the cool thing to be. So I just lift weights as much as I could. So I was like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", like 190 when I got hurt. So I was just lifting weights and I ended up getting to 215. You know what I mean? But obviously I ended up losing the weight once I started playing again, but I just started lifting weights.
So that was kind of like, and I tore my ACL in 07 too, so that's crazy. But
yeah, Andy, I think Andy did too.
Yeah, Andy did that summer. And it was Andy, myself, and then I guess it was you. Right? But so it sounds like it was a blessing in disguise for real, because now you get to sit down, you get to figure out how I got to get my body right. And now, and like I said, your body is always like top notch, right? So was that that could have been like the turning point for you to where like, all right, I'm really going to get my body right, get stronger?
To be honest, my oldest brother was a dude who always like worked really hard. So I kind of took from both my brothers, like little bits and pieces. So the working hard part came from my oldest brother. He always run, the 10 miles here, there. He runs all across Syracuse. So I seen that as hard work already. So I started actually working on my body probably 14. And I knew then naturally that like my body can put on weight and like react, get stronger faster than I feel like normal people. Because from my ninth grade year, I was like 6'1", 6'2", 180. Sophomore year, 6'2", 6'3", 193. So naturally, I was just getting stronger because I was doing strength and motion with Corey Parker.
Yeah.
And I was just taking it real serious. I was just I was soaking it in. I was, was getting more athletic and things like that. So it started. But obviously when I was hurt, I couldn't run. So I was just bench pressing more. Like I probably increased my bench press within those months, and within like 3 months, probably like 50 pounds, just from just like, that's all I can do. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But it started from my oldest brother, like seeing him and hearing about him, running here, lifting weights and working hard. So I was like, that's something that I needed to do.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's talk about the transition from high school to college. I mean, because your first year at the Qs, I mean, the team is top notch, bro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Wes, AO, Andy, Scoop, Rick, Chris, Joe, and then the freshmen are you, Deshaunte, and Mook, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And James and James Sutherland.
And then James, my fault, and then James.
Yeah.
So talk about coming from JD and then coming into Qs. Like, what was that transition like? And then talk to me about like that summer coming in pickups. What were those games like?
So before I ever got there, Johnny was set to go to the NBA. Scoop Jardine was coming off an injury. So coach, he said it to me. He's like, listen, like, we don't know who's going to start. It's obviously either you or Scoop, So I knew that I was going to be able to play because I was like, all right, Johnny's going to be gone. And I was coming in as a point guard. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to at least get some minutes. So when he told me that, that's when I actually committed. This was like, I think it was like sometime in like September of 08 is when I committed. And that was the main reason, just because I knew I was going to get minutes. I'm like, I'm from Syracuse. I'm gonna get minutes, so I'm able to showcase my talent. The summer going in, actually, man, we started freaking Hop had me doing 6 a.m. workouts.
Yeah.
So I would do 6 a.m. workout. I would go 8 a.m. class, 10 a.m. class, and I think we had a 12. And then the guys wanted to play at 3. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I probably played 3 pickup games the whole summer. Like the whole summer. I haven't gonna lie. They was calling me. I'm like, listen, I'm tired. So they probably, you could ask them, they probably didn't really see me like really hoop as far as a team go until like the actual school season, the school year started. So that September, and that's when you actually seen, the footage of Paul Harris guarding, was it that? I'm trying to think when, because Melo was coming up.
Oh no, that was before, because I was there for that.
That was before, right? I was there too, but I guess I was in high school.
Yeah, you were there.
Never mind. This when he came up, the Melo Center was opening. My freshman year was when the Melo Center opened.
Yes, right.
Okay, so he was coming up, because I remember like back to back, he just kept coming up to Syracuse. But yeah, I mean, it was just once we we had workouts, but we were still using Manley Fieldhouse for like for all of September, and then once October hit, we started using the Melo Center. But for the most part, I didn't really play no pickup until until the following years is when I was really playing pickup. But the transition for me was I was just working hard. I was just quiet how I am now, just doing things by myself. I mean, I think for the most part, most people would have said like I stayed the same. You know what I mean? So just sticking to myself, doing everything, working out, working hard, and then just I'm in and I'm in and I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you just being around you for several years, you a type of dude who's gonna get this work done, regardless of who it is in the gym, NBA dude or elementary kid. Like you going hard the same way. That's one thing I noticed, and you locked in. Like that's one thing I always loved about you is like you never let the outside or whoever was saying really alter how you're gonna go about things. You know what I mean? So I think just for the young kids, especially listening to this, like if you want to get somewhere and be successful, like that's how focused and locked in you have to be. Like you really got to, if you want to get something done, it got to be like consistency every single day. And I tell you now, like you are a prime example of consistency, like taking care of your body, getting shots up, and that's why you've had a lot of success. But I want to talk about that first year, your freshman year, because you guys won the Big East. That was a hell of a team, bro. So, I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so that year we were more of the unknown team because Wes had transferred to SU the year before he sat out. So we didn't know what Wes Johnson we was going to get, Scoot was coming off the injury already. So he sat out the year before. I think Arenze, I think even Arenze was hurt the year either before. I think the same year, but he actually played the year before 08. He did play. Then we had the freshmen. Chris Joe, he was overweight his freshman year. He had lost the weight. He had lost 30 pounds. So no one knew, So within the first 4 games, we had we had Cal State ranked 12th. UNC was ranked 4th. We beat them by like 15, 20. So they're like, oh, okay. So no matter what, we went from unranked to top, 10 within the first 2 weeks. And I believe, like every year I was at SU, I believe we were ranked number one. I think all 4 years, at least once, if I'm not mistaken.
Y'all played Michigan State that tournament too.
Yeah, we beat everybody. We beat Michigan State. We beat Cal. No, we beat Cal. We beat UNC. That was the Thanksgiving 24 2K Sports tournament, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, we took everybody by surprise. Coach, he had the 7-man. He had Scoop and Chris coming off the bench, so we were set, man. I think even that year we were doing really well, and obviously Renze get hurt again in the Big East tournament. So we was down a man going into the tournament. But I think if we had him, we probably would have been another at least Elite 18.
And that's another one of my questions. Like, what was like when that happened? Because AO, I mean, he was the anchor in that middle of that zone. Like he was definitely doing the job. What was like the team morale after you saw him go down in that Big East tournament, and then eventually find out that he's out for the rest of the time?
For me, I seen how hard he worked every day. So I thought, like, man, like, what does this mean for his post, career? In my head, but I mean, obviously we all were down when it happened, you know what I mean? And thinking like, okay, where do we go from here? Obviously you feel for a guy that get injured. He's a 5th-year senior at this time. So he was already dealing with injuries in the past in his career. And he makes it all the way now healthy and, he's pretty dominant. So he makes it to a point where he's going to have a great professional career and, have a great chance in the NBA. Working through injuries. And he was actually more of a person I looked up to as far as taking care of his body for sure. Because he was like a, 260, 270 6-pack. I ain't never seen that. His arms, is like somebody's thighs. So
right.
For sure. And so for a guy like that, you obviously feel bad. But as a team, it's like, we didn't have technically, we had Rick Jackson, which was the power forward at the time, but we obviously had to move him to the center. And then we had to play Deshante Riley, who didn't play the whole season. So obviously he wasn't ready to play. So, you go from having a good 7 guys that we were ready to, fight with, to now trying to figure things out and, and things like that. So Rick was the power forward, but then he was the backup center too. But then now he moves to center, and now you put I don't even know who I think Deshante started, if I'm not mistaken. I think he ended up starting. So I don't know. So it was tough.
I mean, I'm telling you, I tell everybody, like, that middle guy, that center guy, that's the one who really dictates that zone. So when you take out that piece, and no disrespect to Deshante, I mean, he was young. You know what I'm saying? He was just thrown into the fire. But when you take out a guy like that changes the whole thing. His presence alone is gonna change the game. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, and to be honest, it's more so about to me, I think the most important part is obviously the wings. If that's why when we were good, we always had the 6'9" athletic Jeremy Grants of the world. CJ Fair, someone like 6'8", who's gonna be able to close out, but then also get back and be able to block your shot. Pinning on the glass. That's when we're really good. So in the middle, also we were incredible because by Musakeda was playing everywhere. He was middle. He'll run to the 3-point line. He'll get back to the middle. Take a chart. Even with Fab, that's when we were incredible with Fab Melo because he was just blocking everything. But he was leading. He was averaging 3 blocks, but also leading NCAA and charges as a center. Like he took like 3 charges a game, which is crazy, unheard of. So, but it's being able to speak and just Arenze was so good because he was obviously he's being vocal and telling everybody where to go. So that's where anchor goes, and obviously being strong, being able to wall up and things like that is also good. But that's what it is. That's what it is. Either you have to be really vocal or really athletic, So you either, athletic meaning that you have to cover for everybody, or you be a vocal and make sure no one else get beat.
Yes.
And things work out like that.
Yeah, you hit it on the head right there. I was thinking the same thing in my mind just when you said it. Like, you either got to be one of the two. You talking a whole lot, you communicating your ass off, so making sure everybody else in their spot, or you, like you said, you athletic to where you just moving around to where you can make up for a lot of those mistakes. You know what I mean? And that's what probably Fab was so fucking mobile that he was getting to that spot chart. And then if he was late, he blocking the shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he wasn't afraid to talk. So Fab, so he was talking and then he was blocking, he was laughing, and he's 7 feet and he got off the ground really fast. So you think you got a shot and he's at the top of the square off of, flat-footed. So I think he probably played the best that's when we went, when we lost, basically he only lost 1 game. Yeah, no, he didn't lose a game. No, I think he might have, because we lost 3 games. He didn't lose a game. Fab, because he got ineligible when we lost to the first game. He was ineligible. We lost to I don't know. He did lose. He lost a game in the Big East. We lost.
And that was your sophomore year.
My junior year. No,
yeah,
my junior year, which is his sophomore year.
Yes, your junior year, because your junior year, you guys were like 34-3.
Yep, and we lost the first game. He was ineligible. We lost to Notre Dame, right? The first game we were 17-0, lost, and then we were winning. He comes back for the Big East tournament, I believe. We lost to Cincinnati there, and then he becomes ineligible again. And then obviously we lost to Ohio State that year. So
Elite Eight. And that was with Jared Sullinger.
Yep, Jared Sullinger, Aaron Craft, Deshaun Thomas. I mean, they had a lot of pros on that team, to be honest. Overseas guys who make a lot of money now and things like that.
Yeah, we'll skip to that year because that was an unbelievable year, bro. Like that was, like you said, that was your junior year, and then you had, I think that was when. Was that Michael's freshman year when he was coming in? You had CJ, Jeremy, or who was that?
Yeah, that was an incredible year. We had we were like stacked 4 positions ahead of everything, And I think it was crazy because even with my years, I've been part of probably 5 or 6 guys who had really great seasons. You know what I mean? So CJ Fair ends up having incredible, but he was just a piece a lot of times when I was like the first 3 years. My senior year he started doing this thing, and then his senior year he did his thing. Rakeem Christmas was on that team, and he didn't do much until his senior year, and where he dominated.
Yeah.
So we had somebody, and then Michael Carter Williams, he was the 5th guard, he was the fifth guard. And then even then we had Dion Waiters coming off the bench. You know, Trevor Cooney had great years at Syracuse, and he couldn't even get on the roster. He had the red shirt.
So look, I'm gonna cut you off real quick because you're making a great point about what's going on right now. And I talked about it with Michael Carter Williams with the transfer portal. Like, these dudes transferring 2, 3, 4 times, and the first time some adversity hit, they trying to run the other way. Like, how important is it for you to be able to go through those stages, you know what I mean, of development and growth, and then be able to stick it? Obviously, every situation is different, you know what I'm saying? But like, what's your take on what's going on, and like, how has that, you know, helped you to where you could learn each year and get better?
You know what? To be honest, I can't even keep up with it so much. It's like everyone's transferring, and people who I wouldn't even think, people who had a great season with the team that they was on are transferring. So I'm so confused about it now. Like, even the guy McClung from Texas Tech, he had a great season with them. So I'm confused why he would want to transfer.
And he ended up going back.
Oh, did he?
So he decommitted and then back committed. So I don't know.
Oh, exactly. So I'm like, why would he want to? You know what I mean? So I guess with everybody, I mean, I guess the true colors is that more people would transfer if they wouldn't get in trouble, if they didn't have to sit out. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what that's saying, because you had a free year, meaning that now anybody can transfer and they can freely, first of all, you can get the year back and you can go wherever you want. So you could get you know, I think for some people it's great, you know, but I think there's a lesson whether it's going to be taught like that year or, you know, sometime in the future within the transfer rule, you know. And like you said, it could be just sticking it out, but it also is like, I want it now. Like, I want to play now. I want to do well now, because I'd rather get to my full potential now than reach it later, you know. So it all depends on where you're going, and if obviously you make a decision, the right decision, because a lot of people are transferring and either sometimes in the worst position or, you know, don't even do better than what they just did, you know. So it's like, so if you're a person who going to a place that, like, if you're a high Division I player and you go down a level, it makes sense. You know, you go down a level and then you play well, you know, you that guy, you know, you regain your confidence, because a lot of times basketball is confidence. So if a guy can do that, then, you know, who am I to say he's wrong?
Yeah.
Now, and I don't think all players should think like, oh, it's not looked at. Every situation is not looked at as like quitting or quitting on a situation or quote unquote not competing. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense for a person to, if they feel like they're really good, to compete with 3 other guys that's ahead of them. It doesn't make sense. You need to go somewhere. But if you're already there and you're playing, then now that's where the adversity hits and you need to work on yourself, and like, because you have the keys already. If you never get the keys, then, I mean, go somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think, like you said, every situation is different, right? But like you said, you just named those guys like Michael Carter Williams. Dion Waiters came off the bench, was the 4th pick in the draft. Like Trevor Cooney, like all these guys end up having great career NBA draft picks. Trev scored 1,000 points. I just think it's something to learn, like, when you're, you know, going behind it. Because when you leave college, bro, like, I mean, you get it, let's be real, like in college, like as Division I athletes, we get like a lot of shit handed to us. Like, so we, you know, and I think we take a lot of that shit for granted, right? So, but when you get out, like all these habits that you learned in college or, you know, through playing ball or whatever it is, you know, you got to take them with you outside. So like when you going through some shit and then you're able to fight through it and get on the other side of it, that should help you for like, now when you get set up in life, like, shit, I ain't get this job, or I got cut, or, you know what I'm talking about? So you know how to deal with those type of situations and adversity.
Yeah, you know what it is like you said, it's all habits. So if I quit on something, then I'm gonna be okay with quitting again. I mean, that's how most things in life happens. If you do it once, then you're gonna be okay with it doing it again. And that could be things that you see in life, your environment, things like that. it's the same thing. You know, if you see it, then you might think it's okay, even if you know it's wrong. You know what I mean? So, like you said, for it to be a habit, that's when you have to kind of watch out for it. I'd say, you know, it feels good to prove people wrong. You know what I mean? Or even prove yourself right. I say, if it's better to prove yourself right than to prove someone wrong. You know,
100%.
so it's all about you. You know, and at the end of the day, like that's why achievements, whether they're small or big achievements, that's why setting, you know, short-term goals and long-term goals is important, because you get that gratification and you get that, you know, it's a self-esteem builder. You know, it's a level of assurance. You know, it's a level of security that you get, and it comes from within. It's all things that you put on yourself, and you are achieving. So, for me, something like that, you know, you hear guys, they sit out. I think Raheem probably is the biggest one. So you go from a guy who, for whatever reason, doesn't ball out his first 3 years in a college.
And man, he's a McDonald's guy too now. He's
McDonald's guy, doesn't ball out freshman year. I'm there freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, right? And then his senior year, ball out, get drafted. Like, it happens that way, but you know, most people would say, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You know, like, most people say, I'm not waiting 3 years. Like, he goes from averaging 4.5 points to 17 and 9, like,
yeah,
and getting drafted. You know, so I mean, obviously, there's all, you know, there's many different examples and things like that of people who that happen to. Obviously, it's a lower number of positive situations where maybe if you stay 4 years, most people, if they're good, you see that they're good and they just get better. It's not, most people don't have that big jump. So that's why so many people transfer. It's like, okay, I don't see nothing being anything different. First of all, I don't like it. I'm away from home. I'm depressed. I'm stressed out. I'm away from my family. Like, I need to go somewhere else. I mean, and that's how a lot of kids see it.
Yeah, 100%. No doubt. So I want to hop back into the junior season. We'll go all the way to the Elite Eight, Ohio State, because that year, like, it was, if Fab was there, that was it, right? We talked about it for your freshman year. If AO was there, that was it. Like, it's crazy, bro, because I'm going through all the years that you played.
Every season, something happened, and the least talented team, which was my senior year team, we had the most losses, made it to the Final Four.
So I talk about that. Like, okay, so what team out of all your 4 years was the most talented team, and then what team was the best team? Obviously, I mean, you talk about.
I think the most talented and best team was the junior year team, because we were playing defense. We had so many players. Like, we can, like, even our walk-ons was good. So, like, we legit had 3 teams of people in every position. Like, so that year is like you having, let's say you having James playing on the third team. You know, like, it was so many people. It was so many, even like scholarship guys playing with on the walk-on team, because, you know, obviously how practice is. You know, you have the first team and second team pretty much just go against the walk-ons for majority of practice. You know, and then we all had, like, you know, the 20 minutes in the beginning of practice. You know, you have the 10 minutes layups, the 10-minute layup, and then the individual work with the guards. And then, so now you having guys who are McDonald's All-American, you know, who you competing with, you know. So it's like you got 6 guys. You got, it's me, Dion Waiters, Michael Carter-Williams, Trevor Cooney, and Brandon Reese. So that's 5.
And Nick, was it Nick?
Yeah, and Nick Reserve. So that's 6 guys right there, because we're doing a lot of 3-on-3 stuff. And, like, at the end of the day, you got two McDonald's All-Americans right there. You know, Trevor, I think, played like Jordan. You know, so we had so many guys at a high level, and then you go to the forwards, you got James Sutherland, you got C.J. Fair, you got Chris Joseph, right? All three of those guys who all think they deserve to play, like at the end of the day. And then you go center, we got Fab Melo, Raheem Christmas, Bai Musakeda. So those three.
That's what I'm saying. You got all starters for real.
Bro, I just named like six NBA players or something. So it's like 6 guys. Chris got drafted. Raheem got drafted. Fab got drafted. Dion Waiters got drafted. Michael Carter Williams got drafted. That's 5 guys right there.
I mean, who's the biggest shit talker in practice? Because I know, like in groups, I mean, shit. I was talking shit in guard groups, bro.
Oh,
I know it gets heated.
I'm tripping. Scoop Jardine. Scoop was on the team. That was the 6th guy.
That was his 5th year.
That was his 5th year. So
yeah.
that was he was the 6th guy. So it's me. I knew I was missing somebody. So it's me, Scoop, Dion. So obviously Scoop probably was the biggest shit talker. And then I'm also talking about, and then on the forwards, I'm talking about those. I'm naming those. Think about it. Fab Melo, right? Rick Jackson, Raheem Christmas, Bai Musakeda, right there. And then you go to forwards, James Sutherland, Chris Joseph, C.J. Fair. Damn. And then the guards, Scoop Jardine, Dion Waiters, me, Trevor, and Michael Carter Williams.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
And Brandon Reese. So Trevor, so Nick couldn't even get on the floor. He, you know. And then I'm not even naming Mook. So Mookie Jones played. But Mook was playing mostly he had to play on the walk-on team.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that year was like we had too many players.
What's the most memorable moment of that year? Practice or game, a Boeheim moment in the locker room where he went off on Scoop?
You know, Scoop talked the most, so it's always going to be Scoop and Dion fighting about something.
Real quick, I'm going to tell you this. So now it was a point of the year where as Scoop came on, I talked to him about it, where he said it might have been you. I don't know who's going against each other. It was either him and Dion versus you and Michael Carter Williams, and y'all was going back and forth at it for some period of time. Is that true?
Nah, that's what 2-2. So it will always be me and Scoop versus Dion and Mike. That's right. What it would be. And I wouldn't talk shit, so I'll be killing, and he'll talk shit for me, kind of.
Okay, so look, I'm glad you said that you was killing because they said there was went a whole nother way. Dion said he was locking that up.
Nah, I always like you guys. You know what will tell you the truth? James will tell you the truth.
Okay. I need to know because
like, when James will tell you the truth, like he'll be like Dion will do it like because Dion, first of all, Dion be following the whole damn time anyway. You get what I'm saying? So he'll foul hold, especially if you get him with some move, he's gonna foul you and then push you out of bounds. You get what I'm saying? So that year was a good year. And no, that's even like from like when Dion, I ain't gonna lie, when Dion first got to his freshman year, he didn't do none of the workouts, but he did always play 5-on-5. You get what I'm saying? So that summer he was killing. Now we all went at it. Like obviously Dion have his days of dominating. I have my days of I ain't gonna say nothing. Like I ain't gonna say nothing, but you can just ask Scoop because he'll talk for me. You know what I mean? So he'll say like, "Damn, he kicking y'all." He's like he kicking your ass. Then, all right. So I wouldn't say nothing, but all right, I just scored 3 times in a row. Something like that. And then so that's how it'll be, just competing back and forth. And then from there it was like it was just Trevor. Trevor at that time couldn't he couldn't really compete. Actually, Brandon Reese.
Keep it 100. Like, just say it. Like, he couldn't. That was some dogs out there on that floor.
Brandon Reese probably was like at that point could compete. You know what I mean?
Okay. Because he went so hard though, B. He went hard as hell.
He went hard. He's fast, and he was this when his arms was
And he following
bigger.
you like
yeah.
shit. He following you like shit.
He was strong as hell. He fouled. You know what I mean? So
shout out B Reese. He a good dude.
Yeah, man. He was one of those guys. So we had some good walk-ons. Matt Tomaszewski,
Yeah.
Matt Lyde, like all those guys could play. You know what I mean? So they was all competing. So we had too many players. We had too many players.
That Final Four year, I mean, you said this was the most talented team that we're talking about right now, but that Final Four year, like what really like was it like the team gelled more, or was it what was it like?
Because it was just the right moment. Because what happened is I ended up hurting my back. I hurt my back like January 14th. I hurt my back against Pittsburgh. I don't know what I did. I might have slipped it. I don't know. I pulled something, right? From that day, from that game, that Pittsburgh game, my back was killing me. And I was hardly practicing that whole time. So if you notice, from literally the middle of January, I was averaging like 15.5 points. My stats slipped all the way down it's hard to slip down a whole 2 points. Halfway through the season, it was slipped down all the way. And that's when CJ Fair, I was leading the team. And that's when CJ Fair was going up. James also, all three of us kind of around the same number. Yeah. And then CJ ended up obviously playing really well. And we got to a certain point. So we were winning. Season was cool. You know what I mean? But we lost 4 out of 5. The end of the season, we lost 4 out of 5. And the only game, we beat Providence in the beginning of the 4 games we lost. And then we beat DePaul by like 50 points, which is on senior night. But we had lost to Louisville. I think we lost to everybody at that time. Georgetown, Louisville, maybe UConn. I don't know. We lost like 4 out of 5. So we went from a team who was we were ranked number 1 in December, and then we played Louisville. They were ranked number 1. We ended up beating them, and then the next game we were ranked number 1, and then Villanova beat us. So we were playing really well, but and then we just at the end of the season we just couldn't win. So going into the actual season, going to the Big East tournament, we wasn't really sure if we was going to make the tournament. We were like almost a bubble team because we lost so many games in a row. You go from, okay, you lose 1 game and now you rank 11. Okay, you lose the second one, now you rank 3rd.
But y'all wasn't a bubble team though. Y'all was going to be in the tournament.
I don't know. It was close. Think about this. We had maybe 3 or 4 losses. Then we lost 4 in a row. So we were not ranked at the time. So we probably would have made
it been like an 8 seed or something.
Maybe. Well, I know for sure I wasn't sure. I was like, the way I was feeling about it, I wasn't sure. So I felt like we needed to do what we did in the Big East tournament, which was make it to the championship, and we ended up losing, obviously. But we made it to the Big East championship. We won 4 games, and we were, and from there we just kept the same momentum. And for us, we had like a couple meetings at the end. Obviously, I was one of the leaders. The seniors on the team, I was Mike Carter-Williams as a sophomore was the leader. James Sutherland as well was the leader on the team. So we kind of like just regrouped and really just locked in on defense. We knew that maybe our offense would be off, sometimes, but defensively we're just different. We were just different. We was holding teams down like 45 points, like throughout like the last, because we made it to the Final Four, so we had 5 games. We had 5 games, and then we had the 4, so 9 games. I think we was holding people to like 45. And Indiana, we held them down to like the worst shooting of their season. Marquette was a good team, held them 39 points. Like we were holding teams. I think Indiana had maybe 40, 45, 46 points. It was crazy.
And that was with Jeremy too on that. Jeremy was on the other side of
Jeremy was on their team, yes. Like I said, we had a lot of guys. But he was obviously really athletic then. And the stuff he was doing was kind of like a snippet of what he was. Obviously this year, he had a breakout year. But it was like a small sample size, because when James got ineligible that year. Jeremy Grant went from an unknown player to on the draft boards. I'm talking about late first round.
Yeah,
because he was dunking that thing. He was running the floor block like crazy 2-hand blocks. Just a great intensity guy, a high energy guy. So yeah, we had a you know what it was, our team wasn't as good, but we had more of a roles. Everyone had their role.
yeah, I get it. No question.
So that's what it was for us.
And sometimes it works out better like that because now guys know who's gonna. Okay, he needs to get the ball in this situation. He needs to get. He's gonna be here under. Like guys know their role. I got to rebound and run. I got to sprint the floor, get to that corner, spread the space the court. Like you know what I mean. Like that roles are defined. It makes it easier sometimes for guys. You know what I mean. Now they going hard at what they know they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it was for us as far as the guards go. It was just me and Mike, and Mike would start the point. I'll start the two. When Mike go out, I'll play the point. Trevor come in at the two, and then obviously we had CJ Fair starting at the small forward. Raheem Christmas at the center, and him and Daywan split minutes for the most part. And then James was more. It depends with those guys. If James is playing really well, he might start, and then CJ start. So no, actually James he was sixth man, I think, that year. So he came off the bench, but he played a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And then just coming off the bench, we had Jeremy Grant as well. Obviously, Jeremy Grant started playing more minutes when James was ineligible, so his minutes went down, but it built him up to a certain level where, his confidence, he was always ready to play.
Yeah.
So we had Trevor coming off the bench, Jeremy Grant, obviously, and by Musakeda. When Daywan got hurt, he became kind of like our anchor, because that year Raheem started the first 3 minutes of every game, but didn't play. Like he probably played like 5-10 minutes a game, but I pretty much played the whole game. And then I don't think I'm missing. So we had like a rotation of 8 guys, if I'm not missing nobody. So everybody knew what who were the go-to guys were.
Yeah.
And we just Mike got everybody the ball. I think for the most part he was averaging 9-10 assists throughout the first half of the season. I think he ended up averaging like 7 assists. So that was a great season for us, for sure.
What was it like being able to grow up in Syracuse and then become like the winningest player in Syracuse basketball history? Like, like we talked about all those years, bro. Mm-hmm. Like those 4 years are the most winning 4 years in Q's history, right? I think if you have like 120 wins, I think.
I got those 4 wins the winningest seasons in Syracuse history.
Yeah, that streak. What was it like for you though, being from Q's, like doing that?
Oh, man. I'm not gonna lie. So it's 2 parts to it, right? So as a local player, it was a stigma with Syracuse players, like city of Syracuse players who go to Syracuse who don't. It was a stigma that whoever's from Syracuse or from the area doesn't play well.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to break that, or I kind of wanted to at least be the best Syracuse guy. So my uncles from the area played there. Obviously you have like people like John Wallace, but he was from Rochester.
Z.
So you had Z. Exactly. Started with Z. So that's why no one really wanted. So he's like, all right, he doesn't play a lot. And then he had one good season, which is a 96 season. He averaged like 6 or 7 assists. And then you have even like Josh Wright, Deshaun Wright, those guys who all went. So it's like a bad stigma of like a Cuse guy, a Syracuse-born guy going to Syracuse. So I'm like, all right. And then you have before me even Andy. Andy had like a couple good seasons, but so when I went there, I kind of, my goal was just to be the best that I could be, right? So for me, it's 2 parts, right? Do you trade winning for great stats? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like personally, right? would I rather have, let's say, be Buddy Boeheim right now, or be what I am? You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
Buddy's
would you
having
rather have
really
right.
great individual stats, but they're not winning nothing. They're not going to,
Well, they did go to Sweet 16 this year.
This year, which was actually incredible. I mean, no one expected it.
Right. No
you get
doubt.
What I'm saying? No one expected it, which was awesome. And obviously Buddy played really well. So that's where I sit in the middle of. Like, obviously, I think I individually, I wish I would have, sometimes I think like, damn, if I didn't play with so many good players.
Well, but look though, hold on right quick, because I mean, individually, you scored over 1,500 points, almost 500 assists, under 400 rebounds, and then 150 steals. Like it's a good ass career, like a real good career. Like, you know what I mean?
And it's like, it's not too shabby, you know what I'm saying? But obviously, I'm saying, but that's where, like, obviously, the winning is what's quote unquote the most important, you know what I mean? But obviously, individually, you always want to do more, especially when you're from, like, being from the city of Syracuse. I'm like, I want to be that guy where, people remember. You get what I'm saying? Remember what I did versus not really sure. You get what I'm saying? So, like, when you hear my name, obviously I stayed 4 years. So most people, obviously, you stay 4 years, they think you stayed, 6 and 7 years at SU.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my senior year, I think I did really well. I averaged 13. I averaged the most I was going to average. I probably would have averaged more if I wasn't hurt during the last part. So, but how does it feel? As you get older, it's more important, if that makes sense. Yeah. But in the midst of it, I'm like, man, I wish I would have, I might have been one of them transfer, whatever you transfer dudes back in the day. But obviously, my dad was like you said, not gonna quit on nothing. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna play and do things like that. And it was like, come on, it's too sweet. I'm home, I'm playing. I feel like I was in control of a lot of things. So for me, I'm to be honest, I'm just grateful. Just to. I mean, I wouldn't want to be those guys who don't even know what getting to the NCAA. Like, it was normal for us to get to the NCAA tournament. We just waiting. Every year we wait until the end of the season because we know. But I know there's so many other guys who don't even know what that feel like. And I didn't really notice that until I got overseas. When I got overseas, it was like, dang, you was at Syracuse? Man, that was a big school, man. We used to watch you all the time. And I'm like, you know what I mean? And you competing with the same guy. So it's like, you realize how privileged you were.
Yeah, absolutely. And how was it playing for Coach Boeheim? And give me your funniest Coach Boeheim moment, because he got plenty. And I asked everybody because everybody got plenty.
The funniest was when it was a Renze. It was my freshman year, right? And, obviously, if you look at Renze and look at Coach, he obviously looked like he could throw him like 30, 40 feet, right? So he goes, we playing Mercyhurst, right? And the Division II team. Yeah. He was talking about, the center was like 6'5". So Coach is mad as hell. He goes, right? He tells Renze, right? He goes and he throws the ball, right? And this is the time we're in the locker room. The locker room, we got the football locker room. So that ball ricocheted and, right, it almost hit Chris Joseph. Right, and he's like, "Oh," and then Coach is like, "Oh, I was aiming at I almost hit the wrong person," right? And he was talking to Renze, right? He's like, "I bet you if I punch you right now, you would do shit." He said that because he was saying that he was trying to call Renze soft, and you're looking at a freaking 6'9", 270 dude, and Coach like, so to me, that wasn't necessarily the most funny, but I'm looking like this thing. We all like. So he throws the ball, like, the ball goes, he's like, the ball went all over the place. And like, he says that, he's like, you 6'5", like, and Mookie obviously can tell that he had the voice, he got Coach's voice down and everything. He's like, you let him push you around. You just soft. You so soft. I bet if I punch you right now, you wouldn't do shit. Like that shit was hilarious. And you
what
like
AO say? What AO do? He ain't do nothing.
No, obviously AO like respect. No, that time he was pissed. He was pissed. Like that's the first time I seen AO react to anything, and he kind of like stormed off or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was it. Like, cause I think either Murph, I think was trying to grab him. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And this is first game of the season, kind of thing.
What was it like playing for him though?
For me, obviously coaches. Me personally, I didn't necessarily love it, but I understood the greatness of Coach, like his ability to be an X and O guy. Yeah. I think he's one of the best guys out of timeout. Like 90, 100% of the time, if he said, okay, we're gonna do this, boom, boom, it worked like 100% of the time. But obviously, I'm not a dude. You don't gotta yell at me, like so. Yeah. You don't gotta curse me out and break me down to build me up. You know, I'm one of those guys who might quit on you if it's that way. You feel me? So I didn't necessarily like that and didn't even think that it was like needed. All you gotta do is tell me. Like, so that was the difference between freshman, sophomore, junior year. Obviously I had backups, guys who can back me, like he could take me out. Senior year, he didn't speak to me that way. He just let me go. Like, all right, let's go. Like he more so, let's go. Let's shoot your shots. We need Brandon. We need you to shoot more. Let's go. And I was like, damn, you could have just said that. The other years, I would have reacted way different than that. You know, that's how I shut down. My freshman year, I shut down. I was shooting like 56. I was gonna be the rookie Big East player, like the rookie of the year, and it was one. I don't remember the exact time, but I literally shut down. Literally, I was scoring 2 points. I went from averaging 11, and then from that second half, I was shooting 50% from 3, and then I ended up averaging 8 points to finish the season. It's just because it was like that, so. But for me, it's just, obviously it makes you stronger after a while. Like once you on the outside looking in, it makes you stronger, and it tells you a lot about yourself, if you, sometimes like me, I'm more passive, right? So they just say that you need to work on something, like, just don't be passive, you know what I mean? And I think that's the majority of the criticism I have gotten in the past was, oh, if Brandon get mad, then he's unstoppable, kind of thing. So that was like one of those things where it kind of, especially when I go overseas, it puts me in like a certain mindset where I don't necessarily have to be upset now just to have a mindset to dominate. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, absolutely, bro. And for me, like you were one of the most talented dudes I've seen come through. And when you do put your mind to it, when you're aggressive, like when they say pass, they mean like, man, go attack, like go put that shoulder in his chest and go ahead and do it. Because when you're aggressive and you do it, like ain't nobody stopping you. Get to the rim. I mean, I've seen it. I played with you in the TBT. Like you're one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. So I get what, what I'm saying? Like when people saying that, I get it, because like I'd be like, man,
it's a compliment at the same time. It's a compliment.
No doubt.
Yeah, because it's like, damn, like when you do that, you look incredible when you do it, but I don't know why you're not doing it. So, I mean, that's how I look at it, and I'd be like, but I'm also, I don't know if it has anything to do with me being a Pisces, but I also analyze things. So when it comes to certain stuff, if I think I get in the way of others or something, sometimes like that, then I might be a little bit more analytical about it and think about it too much, and then just be passive if it's like that. That's why when I go overseas, then especially if it's 2 foreigners, then I know I'm not in nobody's way. I'm the person. So it's just boom. You know what I mean? So it's just an easy light. So I mean, obviously I still deal with that shit to this day.
So what do you think your favorite moment in your whole Q's career was?
I think just the Final Four experience, for sure. I think just like playing at that level, and then just playing in the Georgia Dome at the time. I'm not sure if it's called anything different, but it's like inside of a football stadium, it's like 80,000. Obviously we play in the Carrier Dome, but I'm not sure. I think Carry Dome holds what 50,000 or something like that. But thinking of like something that holds 75. Like when I just look like you playing on top of a stage, like you playing on a stage that's like maybe I think 5 or 6 feet in the air, and then when you just look out, it's just stands on stands on stands. It looked like it was 50 yards of stands before it even went up. You know what I mean? And like you on the stage, the lights are super bright. Just the media before it. I was playing in Atlanta too, so half of my family lives there. So during like the media shoot around, I probably had like 30 people, was able to watch me practice and things like that. So I think that's like a lifelong memory as a family. You know what I mean? So just that experience, and then like no one thought we can get there, and then every like literally game after game, it was like this, game after game, they didn't think we were going to win. So once we won a few games, the confidence hit. Once we beat Indiana, it was like, all right, these guys might not lose. So
we'll talk about Syracuse a little bit. I mean, I just want you to tell me about your experience overseas, because you've been a lot of places: Italy, Greece, Israel. Just got back from Dubai. I mean, talk about what that did for your mindset, like your mind. Besides like basketball, like what did you learn from all those experiences, and then to this day, what have you learned?
I think people who judge people who are prejudiced against different religions, cultures, I think those are people who probably don't travel. So if you are able to travel and like be indulged and live in these different environments, taste the different food, things like that, you would never judge anybody. You know what I mean? Because what's different doesn't make it better or worse. When I moved, I was depressed. Like I was by myself. At the time, I didn't have my driver's license, so I didn't have a car when I was over there my first year. So I had to adjust, and my dad came to visit, I think twice. And for me, I just had to like literally like just think to myself, like, what am I doing here? What's my goals? And it took for like one good day, I think it was like in January. I started with this. For me, I clean my house. So this is what I do literally. If I want to like start a diet, eat like better healthy things, I always clean like my house. I literally clean the floors. I clean the dishes. I started out cleaning that first. And then from there, I was able to get to my diet and focus on everything else. And that's how I kind of reset. And then from there, I was cool. But for me, obviously, I like being around my family and things like that. So anytime I want away from home, it's going to be an issue after a while. So I think that's the toughest thing is being away from your family. You're able to make good money and things like that. But that's the toughest thing. Obviously, the coolest thing is you are experiencing different cultures, different languages, different food, different people, and different kind of basketball. So it's a basketball, especially playing abroad, it's a crazy hustle. I mean, so it's very competitive. So many people want your job. Obviously in the NBA, you only have like 450 or maybe more jobs, but overseas, like, team not winning, they'll get rid of you like tomorrow. Like, so with that being said, you have to stay on top of your game. You have to be a professional at all times. You got to understand that it's a business. There's no real friends when it comes to business, and that's what basketball is. Once money comes involved, I don't care how cool they think you are. I don't care how they treated your family when your family visit. Just know that everything is not like secure, everything's not safe, and that you need to play, and you have to do what they think you're supposed to do, So that's the most important thing, is just living up to their standards. But as a whole, like I lived in Italy, like you said, Greece, Israel, Turkey, and then now Dubai. And the biggest thing is just those are all different places, and just not being scared to be a part of the culture. Not being scared to go out and do things, go see places, hang out with with the local people, and try new food. Like for me, I'm not gonna lie. I like the places that's closest to America. So like Israel and Dubai was the coolest places for me because that I had to make. You know, both of those places, a lot of people spoke English, so there was no language barrier. When it comes to food, I've seen familiar food places from America. So if I really wanted American kind of food, I can go there. But obviously, you have certain places where Italy, Greece, where it's not as common that you'll see at Fridays or Chili's, Popeye. It's not so common. But in Israel, you'll see Popeyes. In Dubai, Dubai has everything. Dubai has literally PF Chang's, Red Lobster. It has everything. So there's no transition when it comes to that.
What's your favorite food since you've been overseas? Not American.
Favorite place to eat? So favorite place?
Or no, your favorite food, like while you've been overseas, that's not American food.
I mean, which is bad because America is like a melting pot. So it seems like everything is American food. But for me, I think so Turkish food is like, for me, when I think of Turkish food, I think of like doner, the kebab, the grilled chicken. And then when it comes in Greece is like similar to Turkish food.
Baklava.
Yeah, the baklava, the Turkish. Oh my god! Like, so, okay, my favorite dessert overseas for sure is baklava.
No doubt.
Favorite dessert for sure, baklava. And then again, food overall, I'd probably say Italy because it's home cooked food.
Yeah.
You got the carbonara is my favorite. It's like type of spaghetti, or you get spaghetti or penne as far as the pasta go, but it has like bacon, eggs inside of the pasta. That's like, and then the rice balls, the arancini is what it's called, like Italy gelato. So I can just name all those things that I enjoy. But other places, I mean, Israel, is hummus? I don't know if hummus Israeli or not, but I know hummus.
Israel got some great food, man. So I lived in Afula. I was in Afula for like 3 months before I got injured when I was playing out there and I had to go back home. But bro, they had some unbelievable food, bro. I don't know if hummus is like is I mean, hummus is, I don't know. I think it's Mediterranean, so it might be Greek.
Right.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking, but that's the first place I actually had it because it was like most menus had hummus on it, So that's when I actually was like, oh, this is not bad at all. But obviously, it probably is Mediterranean because Turkey had it more commonly, like Turkey. You had it with like a pita that was like a real dish. So yeah, man. Like so the number one place I'd probably say is Italy. I could easily say that.
Yeah, Italy got some unreal food. So what's your favorite place to eat in Syracuse?
Favorite place to eat in Syracuse. My favorite place to eat in Syracuse. I mean, what's crazy is that it's not just in Syracuse, but always the first place I would always go to coming from overseas was IHOP. That was always the first place. I'm telling you, it's not. But I'm saying, but that's not like a Syracuse thing. But the favorite like Syracuse restaurant, that's tough because you obviously it's the easiest thing to say is Dinosaur Barbecue. That's the easiest thing to say, right?
Right.
But I don't necessarily go there. Actually, I typically only eat it around the Boeheim, to be honest. Like yeah, like they're like if I ate there 30 times, 26 of them had Boeheim's. It was
Had
Boeheim
that.
was included. I'm gonna be honest. Dang, I think OIP.
Okay.
Garlic,
Respect.
honey garlic wings. I mean,
Yeah, respect.
charred grill ones.
Yeah, I respect
For
you on
sure,
that.
OIP I go to. And then I always make a stop. So this is what I do. I make a stop at, it's this Chinese place called H&K. It's right there. It's on Columbus Ave and Erie Boulevard. I always stop there because I've been eating there as a kid.
There, right in the corner.
Right in the corner, yep. I eat there. I eat at Jamaican food restaurant across on South Ave.
Jerk Hut.
Bongo. Jerk Hut. Eat there. So that's 2. And then for breakfast, I always either take my mom, we either get mother's cupboard,
Okay.
or eggplant, which is on my side of the town.
Ooh, that's tough. Hey, eggplant tough.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're good. They always treat me well too. But
I thought you were
those
gonna
are
say Mom's Diner. Mom's Diner.
That's right. That's right there on Westcott.
Yeah.
I only been there maybe 5 times. You know, I think Stella. I went before Mother's Covered because I never really knew about it. I always do hear it. I was eating at Stella's the whole time. So when I was at SU, I was always eating there. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What else? Oh, I'm tripping. What? Oh, I'm tripping. Telly's. My bad.
Oh, okay. Telly's tenders, my guy.
Telly's number 1. Well, how could I forget? Telly's is number 1. The Telly tenders. That's number 1.
That's it. Shut it down. That's it. That's all you had to say.
Yeah, that's it.
Who is the hardest person you had to guard in your basketball career?
Hardest person I had to guard. I think I can say
besides me.
Right, yeah. I gotta think about this. Professionally, so obviously, okay, playing wise in his own, I say Kemba Walker and Marshawn Brooks. Brooks. And a close third is Jeremy Hazel? No.
Oh, Jeremy Hazel? How's that? Hazel.
Jeremy Hazel. Because he would shoot the ball from so far.
Yeah.
So in the zone, those 3 guys.
Well, I'm talking about man to man, like locking.
That's what I'm saying, man to man. I'm saying, but shit, if they scoring on you in the zone, like Kimba was like, you know what I mean? So he was current, like he probably had 2 good games versus us.
But no, this could be any time, B. So this could be summertime pickup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm breaking it down. Okay. So that's like when I was at SU, because most people want to know like at SU. And then in practice wise, probably Dion was the hardest to guard. I think Dion was the first guy, right? I was playing, I was like, most people, I never would say, oh, this guy's like better than me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was the closest guy I would say, like, all right, this motherfucker's good. like you get what I'm saying? That was the first guy I was like, this motherfucker's good. And like, but in my head, I'm still thinking, all right, me at my best versus him at, you get what I'm saying? So I'm like, I never have to give people credit. Like,
right.
Like I'm like, all right, you might be better than me right now because your mentality is different than mine right now. You get what I'm saying? But me at like my full strength, at your full strength, you know, I won't be giving too many people that because I feel like I can play defense too. You get what I'm saying? So,
no doubt.
So I could probably just say the easiest thing is to say Dion. But as a professional, I'm trying to think of somebody who was like, and then as a high schooler, Lance Stevenson.
Yeah.
Lance Stevenson. I played against him twice. And one of the times he had like 30 39. It was an IS8. He had 39. And this game was crazy, because IS8, nobody would play like the regular season, but then for the playoffs, they flying all kind of people out. So
yeah.
On my team, it was me, Peyton Siva. I'm trying to think. Mike Kabango.
Oh, Texas.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of somebody who was all like. Those might have been the only like notable guys on my team. They team had Lance, Malik Williams. They had Lance, Malik Williams. I don't know. They had like 5 McDonald's All-Americans. That's what they had. And we also, who also was, we had end up picking up, day one, end up coming and play with us. So this is my senior year going into college. This was, day one end up playing with us as a freshman on my team, the ISA. But yeah, it was like all McDonald's All-American. He had 39. But obviously he got it going like, because ISA is a small court. So it's real New York City, like almost outdoor park. And I was Mr. Basketball, and he was Mr. Basketball too. The same year, we were Mr. Basketball of New York at the time. So it was like they kind of played it up on that. So yeah, I think those are the guys.
So I got two questions, two last questions for you. And this first one, they're both super important, but there's only one right answer on this question right here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
I'd say Jordan.
Okay, cool. You passed the test. That's all I needed to hear. All right, that's good. That's it. That's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
That's a TBT group chat special right there.
And speaking of TBT, the last question is, will we be seeing you in the jersey this summer?
I think it might be a hard no.
No?
Just because, I think because I don't have enough time home. Because I know that's like a whole month commitment. Within the next few weeks, I'm heading back to Dubai for like a month.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be away from my family from all of June. So then to come back, TBT is right there. Boom. So then I'm and then I only got a couple. So I can't. There's no way I could dedicate my time in the summer.
I'm gonna circle back around to you though.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see. We'll see about it.
But B, man, I appreciate you coming on, bro, sharing all them stories and just rocking with us, man. Really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. Anytime you need me for anything, obviously around the town, around Cuse, I'm willing to come in, whether it's speaking to a group of kids, anything like that. Listen, I know you have a nice following of young kids who look up to you and things like that. So anytime I can help, I'm super down for that.
My man, I appreciate you, bro. And that's already in the works. We're gonna get that going for sure.
All right, no doubt.